My Country, 99.3 WCON. That's 19-something from Georgia's own Mark Wills. And check it out. I've got Mark on the line right now. What's happening, Mark?
How are you, pal? What's going on, Tim?
We are getting ready for you to come to Cornelia for Cornelia MusicFest on May 16th. And this is home to you in North Georgia. So I'll bet you're excited to come on back and play for the folks.
Brother, I tell you what, I try to play a Georgia show every year. And this year I have two of them. So yeah, man, I get to be close to home and just hang out and have a good time and enjoy my own bed for a night and at the same time, get to play music for all the friends around the house.
Well, I tell you, with you being here, you have quite the honor, Mark. Let me fill you in. So you're playing here in Cornelia for MusicFest, and we just dedicated a brand new park, D. Anderson Park. It's brand spanking new. We were out there today. It's gorgeous. So a wonderful outdoor venue, and this is going to be a party. Now, I've seen you many times in concert, and you don't look like you've slowed down at all over the decades. So
afford to, baby. Can't afford to.
That's right. But you know what, though, Mark, in addition to all your hits, and we'll get to that in a minute, but you love talking and interacting with the crowd.
Well, I cut my teeth. I cut my teeth at the Buckboard.
Yep.
Down in Smyrna, Georgia,
yes,
and and in the clubs and in the area down there.
Yeah.
And man, that's how we did it. I nothing against these acts that get on stage and don't talk to people or anything else, and that's fine. That's just not who I am. That's just not what I did, and therefore, that's not what I do to this day. I mean, I still have fun with it.
Well, and I think the audience enjoys that because it's more than just enjoying all the great music you put out over the years, but they get to know Mark Wills and who you are. You do a lot of fun stuff on social media as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we typically do this thing called Fun Fact Friday, where every Friday we get on there and act like an idiot and talk about different things and just enjoy our time and excuse me, and not to mention, I mean, I run my social media. I mean, I have a company that helps me do stuff and helps me post, but everything on there is me. It's not some kid sitting behind a computer somewhere making a bunch of posts,
right?
Or anything else. It's truly me doing it, and and I love that.
Well, you must feel connected to your audience that way as well, doing that. And, of course, shows like this that you're doing in Cornelia on May 16th. Mark, let's shift gears a little bit to the music now and the show. How has the show evolved over the years?
Well, when you first start out, you're having to play other songs. You're having to do stuff like that. For us now, I mean, man, we've reached the point where it's all about playing the hits. It's all about getting the songs out there that people have heard on the radio and enjoy and all that kind of stuff. And so that's the main focus of the music is the show, the songs, the hits, 19-something, I Do Cherish You, Jacob's Ladder, Wish You Were Here. I mean, we could go on and on. That's what we like to do. And then we like to throw some of the album cuts in there because people, many times people, when you go to a show or something, they're like, man, I love the fact that you play so-and-so, or whatever, because they're like, I always thought that song should be a single. And that's kind of the way we've set our show up. We honor some of the folks that have come before us. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean,
good.
You've got a 100% chance of hearing some Keith Whitley or some, insert whatever 80s or 90s country that you like right there. But the majority of it is all my stuff. And we have a good 90 minutes of, if not longer, of just having fun and playing the songs that people have heard.
And the songs that people have heard, a lot of the fun up-tempo stuff like you mentioned, but also a song you didn't mention a minute ago, and I've been dying to ask you about this for years because there's one song that you have that really just tugs at the heartstrings. It's Don't Laugh at Me. Are you still playing that song?
Absolutely. There's not a night goes by that we don't play that song.
My goodness.
That's actually my favorite song to sing in the show.
I'll bet.
I love that song. I love the message of that song. We have always tried to make sure that song was in the show, if for no other reason than because the connection that so many people have had to it.
And opens the eyes to the people that you mentioned in that song. And that's been with me for, close to 30 years. When I see those types of people that you mentioned, I think of that song. So that really left an impact on me, man. It's beautiful. And, of course, we got the fun stuff, Jacob's Ladder. What a sweet story that is. But let's go into 19-something. Here at My Country 99.3, we play the music that made country great, all that stuff from the 90s. And, man, that song, some might say, the kids might say, well, that doesn't hold up because those things don't exist anymore. But to people like us, our age, it is a slice of nostalgia that we can't get enough of. That must be a lot of fun for you to sing.
Well, those kids in today's world, we can't trust them with lighters at concerts anymore. They have to take their cell phone. So so that's what we're dealing with now. I just I try my very best to. We talked about doing a 90s verse to 19-something and an early 2000s verse, and I ain't gonna lie to you, the guys that wrote the song, they literally went, "Hey man, I don't remember anybody ever asking them to rewrite 'He Stopped Loving Her Today.'"
Love it, preach
or,
it. Yeah, don't mess with it. Keep
or
it.
whatever. And I was like, you know what, you're right,
Absolutely.
because that song came out in 2003, and that song was about the 70s and the 80s in 2002, 2003. So, that was the thought process behind it. It's like, yeah, we weren't trying to write something about today. We were writing something about yesterday. And, and so I was like, you know what? You're right. You're 100% right.
And nowadays,
and so we didn't even move forward with the concept of writing a 1990s verse for it.
as even here in 2026, I'm 59 years old, and every time I play that song, and it's a lot here in My Country, I love it. It is a slice of nostalgia, brings up, everything, every toy that you mentioned, everything that we did, I think I did all of it, as did our friends on the other side of the speakers. So really looking forward to watching you have some fun with that at Cornelia MusicFest on May 16th. Free show, by the way, too. So we're asking everybody in North Georgia, no matter where you are, come on now. We got a drone show. You got Mark Wills up there, plenty of opening acts, food. Boy, it's going to be a party, and we're real excited to have you, Mark. Great to have you come back to Georgia, and proud to have you as one of the two shows in Georgia that you do every year.
Well, you know what, Tim, I truly appreciate that. We've always had fun. I love getting to do these kind of shows. And then, like we were saying at the beginning, I always try to do at least one show in Georgia that's free, because everybody that I've known for the last 50 years, they always feel like, well, I used to go see him at the Buck Lord, and it was free then, so we want to go see him for free now.
Well, things have changed.
So that's what we do. We try to do a free show at the house every year to where people can come out and just enjoy their time and have fun. Bring the family. You don't have to worry about breaking the bank or anything like that.
Nope.
Now we do have a mandatory that for free shows you have to buy something from the merch table, because that goes to support my grandbabies.
Indeed.
So there you go. It's a free show, but you have to buy a T-shirt or something like that.
Well, we'll point that merch table out to everybody, of course. We got to feed the grandbabies, right? And it's been a long time since the 90s.
Got to feed the grandbabies. Absolutely, got to feed the grandbabies.
Before we let you go, a couple more questions, and one I really love to end every interview with. Here at My Country 99.3, like I mentioned earlier, we play the music that made country great. So how would Mark Wills define the music that made country great?
I would say that, going back to what I grew up listening to, which was Conway and Jones and Haggard, and then you bounce forward a decade and you start listening to, Kenny Rogers and Alabama and Millsap and all, and all that music, and that's just the stuff we cut our teeth on. And and Tim, I don't mean this to sound negative toward anything, but man, we don't make great country music like we used to. And that's one of the things that we've tried to do. We've got a new record that we're getting ready to put out in the near future. I did a gospel record that I recorded live, and then I brought a bunch of my friends in to come sing on, and then and we've just tried to continue to make great music, and that's where I feel like it. We're a little different. We've taken a little different philosophy in today's world than maybe some of the younger acts. The younger acts grew up with a lot of different music. We had to search for our music when we were growing up. We didn't have an app that you could listen to, 5,000 different radio stations and different playlists all the time. And it's opened the doors to a lot of different influences. And for me, man, I still go back to that 70s and 80s, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Keith Whitley, Conway Twitty, Ronnie Millsap. To me, that's the music that made country music great.
One last question. Mark, who's your buddy from the 90s or early 2000s? Who do you hang out with that our friends on the other side of speakers would know who they are? Who do you hang with? Who do you sing with? Who do you golf with?
I still, Craig Morgan's still a dear friend of mine. Vince Gill is a friend of mine. A lot of the Opry members are friends of mine because we do spend a whole lot of time together. One of the guys that I grew up listening to that I have got to be dear friends with is Lee Greenwood.
Wow.
I've always loved Lee, and was a big fan of the music, and Lee and his wife Kim have become dear friends of mine and Kelly's and our families. All of our their kids and our kids are friends. That's the beautiful thing about so much of what we do is that and I could say the same thing for Randy Owen of Alabama, the boys in Alabama. Man, if you'd have told 8-year-old me that I was going to know Randy Owen and I was going to have his phone number,
Awesome.
I'd have been like, you have lost your mind,
That's great.
and yet I do, and I just love that kind of stuff. I mean, I could say the same thing about Garth and Trisha. I mean, Garth come along in, 90, 91. And, and that was an impressionable time in my life, when I was just starting to cut my teeth in the country music business. And, and if you'd have told me that I would have Garth Brooks' phone number and that we would text stupid memes back and forth to each other, I'd have been like, who is this? You are lying to me, but I mean, it's great, So those are the people that I grew up listening to that I still love the music, love and truly call friends.
Well, you answered that question so beautifully, and it aligns with other country music stars from that era, from the 90s and early 2000s. And they say the same thing. They can't believe that they're now friends with their colleagues who they share the stage with. And that's something about country music. I was really blessed with an opportunity. T. Graham Brown's an old friend of mine, being from Athens, Georgia.
Love T.
He's in something.
Absolutely.
So he invited me up to the Grand Ole Opry in December when he was performing up there, and I was backstage. And so you know this better than anybody. It's a family back there. Nobody's a stranger backstage at the Opry. And that's country music. And having been, again, blessed to have access to artists like yourself over the years, 99.3 of them are all just real down-to-earth folks. And that, to me, is, in addition to the music and the audience and the culture, one of the most attractive things about country music. And you just solidified that with our time together on the phone today, Mark. And I'm so grateful for the time, and we are looking forward to bringing you here. Show starts at 5 o'clock, a lot of opening acts. You take the stage, I'm told, around 8 o'clock. Following your show, a drone show. There's a big merch table with a bunch of Mark Wills stuff you got to stop on by, folks, and enjoy. And we got some food vendors out there as well for a big free show. Mark Wills, looking forward to seeing you at Cornelia MusicFest on May 16th.
Thank you, Tim. Be safe. We'll look forward to seeing you there, pal.